Tagg, what a pleasure and an honor. Thank you for taking time for us today and coming down.
Bill, thanks for having me on. It's an honor to be here with you.
Okay, I'm going to ask something I know a lot of people want to know, or at least I do. What is it like for you to hear the President of the United States call your dad a liar? How do you react to that?
Jump out of your seat and you want to rush down the debate stage and take a swing at him. But you can't do that because, first because there's a lot of Secret Service between you and him, but also because this is the nature of the process. That they're going to try to do everything they can do to try to make my dad into someone he's not. We signed up for it. We got to kind of sit there and take our punches, and then send them right back the other way.
How's your mom and dad holding up? I mean, I can't imagine. I know a lot of local politicians that go through this. It's very hard, but this is a national campaign, and the world's watching this. And of course, sometimes you don't know who your friends or your enemies are. So, how's it going for the family?
They're doing great. They don't watch a lot of news. They don't listen to a lot of radio. They don't. They just keep plowing ahead, and they'll have time for all those things when this is all over. But they're doing very, very well. Very energized. There's been a lot of momentum coming their way the last couple of weeks. And
Can you sense that? Can you sense that the campaign has shifted?
Yeah, the crowds are much bigger. They're more enthusiastic. A lot of young people showing up in the crowds, which is a new phenomenon. And I think those people realize, the young people realize, what their futures are going to be like if the other guy gets elected.
Well, I must ask the obvious question. What did you think of the debate last night?
I thought he was fantastic. I think he did a very good job of letting people know that not only can he talk the talk, but he can walk the walk, and that Barack Obama is also good at talking the talk, but he's got his record to prove that his rhetoric doesn't match it.
Does your dad get nervous before these debates? I mean, I'd be crazy.
Absolutely. Are you kidding? He's terrified before he gets out there. Terrified's too strong a word, but he like anybody, gets the butterflies a little bit, and then once he's in it, 2 or 3 minutes, he's forgotten about the nervousness, and he's amped up and ready to go.
Well, I want to give a lot of the Democrats in the campaign running against your father it's pretty negative. I mean, from accusing him of lying, felon, you name it. It's a long list. So what's your dad really all about? I mean, who is he, and what is he? I know you love him and all of that, but what have you learned from him?
Yeah, I'm glad you asked that, because I have 2 messages when I go around. The first is that he knows how to fix things and get things done, and the second is that he's a really good guy. And I can tell you when the cameras are off. Well, first, I mean, like most people, he loves his family deeply. His brother and sisters, his mom and dad, and then his kids and grandkids and his wife. But in addition to that, I could tell you dozens and dozens of stories when no one was around, no one was watching, and he got involved in someone's life and made it better. Usually in people's lives who were less fortunate than he was, who were having one difficulty or another. And he got involved. He had a lot of times he would bring his kids with him to watch him doing that, so we would learn what it was like and how to treat other people. And he did those things not because anyone was watching, but just because they were the right thing to do.
Why doesn't he like to talk about that? Is it difficult for him?
Yeah, it's funny. His mom and dad raised him that when you do good things, you don't brag about them, and you let those actions speak for themselves. And it's tough for him to give up, to let that part of him go as a politician. He doesn't want to. He assumes that people can when they get to know him, will know what type of person he is, how good his character is, and how deeply he wants to help people. That's why he's running, by the way. He's running because he wants to help America get back on its feet.
Do you give him advice? Does he listen to you if you do?
But the brothers have all made a pact not to give him advice. He's getting advice from so many different angles right now. That our role is to go out and speak on his behalf, and then when we're with him, just to relax him and talk about anything other than politics to take his mind off it for a little while.
Well, are your internal polls showing? Does it resemble the public polls that I see? The Gallups, the Rasmussens, and that, or does your internal polling show it a closer race? I mean, is there? We feel pretty good about where we are right now. Yeah.
I'm not going to break any news for you, but
no, that's fine.
But
it's too bad, but that's okay.
But I can tell you, we feel very good about where we are. I think we're going to win North Carolina. Listen, we're not going to take it for granted. We got to work hard. We're encouraging people. Early voting starts tomorrow. We're encouraging people to vote beginning tomorrow if they're voting for us, and get out there and get their neighbors to do it. But we feel good about where we are. But we're not going to take anything for granted. One
of the polls that just came out. Public policy polling is a left-leaning poll. Mm-hmm. But it shows that your father's up with seniors by, I think, something like 28%. which is a huge amount considering how they've, you're pushing grandma over the cliff kind of commercial.
Yeah.
What's he saying? What's the connection here?
I think they recognize, they're really tuned in, they're educated to the issues, and they recognize how different the paths are. You got Barack Obama, who wants to take us further and further left, who wants to put in more regulation, raise taxes on the middle class. And you got my dad, who believes in capitalism, wants to cut taxes on the middle class, get people back to work, and they recognize that he's got a plan to do it. I think there's also a big sense of this is a generational decision we've got, and the next generation, their future is really at risk right now. And I think that the older generation right now recognizes that they owe it to the next generation to make sure they pick the right guy.
One last question for you, as we have about a minute left. We got another debate next week. Mm-hmm. That's a big one with the foreign policy. How big a deal is that?
I think it's another chance for people to hear my dad unfiltered from the media lens. And each time we do one of these debates, more and more people swing his way. I'm sure it'll be the same in Florida for the foreign policy debate. And I'm sure that Obama has got a lot of things they're not anxious to talk about during that debate. We'll make sure we bring them up.
Okay, I lied. I have one more question. After the debate, do you guys get together and does he...
Yeah.
Because we've been talking today. Oh, he should have said this. Does he do the same thing or not?
Of course he does. Of course, yeah. I mean, we always say, well, if I just said this a little differently, that a little differently. But we get together after every debate. We've had 22 of them now.
Oh my goodness.
And we go and just with my mom and my dad to their hotel room, and we usually just talk about the kids and about sports. Last night we were excited that the Tigers beat the Yankees. And we were talking about that, and we talk a little bit about the politics. We don't watch any of the commentary on the cable news afterwards. So.
I can understand that. Tagg Romney, what a pleasure! Honored to meet you,
thanks
sir.
for having me on.
You bet.